Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Joel Briere, and welcome back to Medicine Visions. So we're going to go through and have everyone introduce themselves. So let's start off first on my view, Ms. Marisa. You go ahead and introduce yourself.
Teresa Dania. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised. And I have a wellness home here in LA with my partner, husband, Mikhail. And we've been having this space for the last 5 years where we offer massage and community gatherings. And I host a weekly cannabis-infused yoga ritual called ganjayoga.la. And so yeah, I love the plant medicine realm. It has supported me in so many ways. So I'm grateful to be here to share and to connect with others in this community. So thank you, Joelle.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Marie, you are next up on my list.
Let's see. Aloha, this is Marie, coming to you from the big island of Hawaii. Was actually born and raised in Tennessee, but I gladly escaped when I was about 22 and have been traveling the world, mostly in Asia, for about 9 years ever since. I am a combo practitioner for about 2 years, and I also work with another entheogenic medicine called Bufo. And I love the world of plant medicines, the world of magic. I'm super into adventure and spontaneous fun and travel, and really grateful to be here to share in this realm with our community. So thank you, Joel, for having us.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mikhail.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael, and I'm from Austria. I was born and raised there for 28 years and then decided to travel the world. We actually met Marisa, who is inside up there, and I'm out here in the garden. Exploring. Marisa has introduced me to plant medicines first. We actually met on ganja cookies in Cambodia and on a boat where it was very strong for me, and I was lying down, I couldn't even move anymore, and she was like there to facilitate my journey, and it was very magical and powerful for me, and I was more open to try new things and have now worked with all kinds of plant medicines, but only with cannabis on a more regular basis, I would say. And I'm now in LA, which Marisa brought me over here, and I love it. Thank you, Joel, for having us.
Thank you, Brother Mikhail. So, we are going to talk about how our individual work with psychedelics or plant medicines in our past have helped us prepare for the current situation with COVID-19 and the whole pandemic and everything around it. So, whether it's been challenging situations that have learned you to help cope with unease or certain individual lessons themselves, we'd just love to hear from all you guys. Mikhail, can we start with you, brother?
Sure. Well, first of all, some plant medicines have been very potent, very strong for me, and I've learned to surrender in some of them. And so I feel like in a much, much more challenging and deeper space before than in this COVID situation. So it's prepared me to, relax into whatever happens, knowing that everything is going to be okay. That too shall pass. And I am my own shaman. What that means is I can navigate and do things that work for me. I feel like there's always two ways in plant medicines to look at, or like what is a medicine and what is a drug. And you can use a drug as avoiding the things you're actually feeling, or in medicine work, you choose to go into that feeling that you are feeling uncomfortable with and really explore it and go in it and go through it and surrender to it and see what comes out of the other side. And that was kind of in the COVID situation here, at the beginning, I was a little bit resistant. I wasn't sure what's going to be. But then I started to surrender into it and just, what can I do in this time to enjoy myself and others and support, and I really love it. Like I explore every day new experiences with myself and others on Zoom or with Marisa, or speaking my truth and just being fully honest. That always has been a huge, that's the biggest learn experience, I would say, like being fully honest and saying my full truth regardless of there's fear behind it, and that has always supported me in any way.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, brother. Oh, it's wonderful. All right. Miss Marisa, how about you?
Yeah, there's a few things that Mikhail shared that reminded me of one of the, I have a like dear friend who's a medicine man, soul brother, who he said the number one rule in working with medicines is to just never freak out. I feel like that very much applies to the situation. Because there was a moment of like panic when this first all started happening. I was just like, and just remembering that message, even just like with the medicines, like it's all temporary. And I feel like one of the biggest lessons I've received from the plant realm is to just like trust the medicine. And in this situation, it's like trusting my higher power, trusting in the universal consciousness that everything happens for a reason. So yeah.
Don't freak out. I love it. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Ms. Marie, how about you?
Sure. Excuse me. Well, I can really resonate with what Marisa and Mikhail just said as well. Just want to raise my hand to that. So some of the ways that plant medicines particularly have really helped me is, I've seen in this time we're in right now, it's like a lot of us are just such empaths. Like me personally, I'm just such an empath. And sometimes I pick up on, just the outside world and what's going on right now. And we're in such a time of uncertainty. And with that uncertainty, it's like there's the trying to plan, the trying to analyze, trying to, figure out the next steps. And the medicine work, I feel like, has really helped me come to an empty place of just emptying out all of that stuff. I'm a Gemini as well. So I'm always like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next plan? And the medicines have really helped me surrender. I think that's like the key word right now is surrendering and just letting go of the resistance. So for me, it's been, especially with combo, which is just such a deep surrender. It's been extremely helpful for helping me just empty the mind and come back to that place of peace and trust, and just knowing that we're totally supported and guided every step of the way. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a topic that comes up a lot, with medicine practitioners is surrender. It's something very valuable that these medicines help teach us, and it's really come in handy. Marisa, like you said, there was a little bit of feel of panic when it started to go down. I was down in Tepoztlan in Mexico, and it started to get serious real quick, and as far as I was seeing on news and social media and stuff. And all of a sudden within I think 3 to 4 days, it went from me thinking that this was going to be something that never really got as crazy as people thought to, oh my goodness. And, and all of a sudden, I started getting emails, within one day I had multiple people canceling their reservations on retreats. And then we had to start canceling retreats. And just as things started dissolving away all around me, of course, there's that initiate or that immediate tendency of the mind, of the ego, to hold on to what's falling away, to grasp for control and say, holy shit, I need that, without even really thinking, do we need that? And But I really do thank, all these experiences with medicines before this that have kind of shown me, especially the bad ones, the challenging ones. I remember, at times back as a teenager, in the 90s, being on 2,000 micrograms of LSD or something and being pretty sure that everything was about to end for the entire universe. And just, learning to brace myself through that and just surrender and let go and find myself being okay with not knowing. And I think that that old Buddhist saying has been coming up to me a lot. The bad news is you're falling through the air with no parachute and nothing to hold on to. The good news is that there's no ground. I think that's something that psychedelics have really helped me digest in life. But yeah, surrender seems to be an overall topic that I hear from people in this, that they've helped get us ready, that they've helped get us ready for not knowing. And that's the important thing, is that we're okay with not being fully in the know, not being fully aware of what's happening. So from there, I usually like to take it and say, how can we take what we've learned? How can we take work from plant medicines, whether it's with specific medicines that you use and specifically how they can help, or how overall you think work with entheogens can assist? But how do we feel that, how can we take what we've learned and help the world with it, essentially? How can we take all this juicy stuff that we've been learning as plant medicine facilitators and practitioners and people in this community? How can we take this and apply it to this global shift? Because for the first time, we're all in this together. This is a global, worldwide spiritual emergence / emergency, and we're in it. So how can we, as representatives of this medicine community, use our tools to assist? Well, keep it to the same order. Mr. Mikhail.
Well, plant medicines always remind me to come back to earth and to nature. So for me, the biggest reminder of this situation here is coming back to nature, like grounding, being connected to the earth, and choose some times to sit with the plant medicine, to just allow yourself to feel all the emotions that collectively around in this global pandemic, like the fear and like the mind chatters. And I feel like there's such a shift happening in the world right now, which, looking at it on the positive side, there's so many beautiful things happening. Like the dolphins are back in the canal system in Venice. And it's amazing to just see how nature recovers, to allow us to actually be in nature and be with nature. And so one thing that plant medicines definitely taught me is to reconnect to the simple life, to reconnect and be okay with being rather than doing. And that's my lesson to everyone, to just tune in with yourself, feel what you feel, and allow yourself to feel whatever that feeling is. And don't try to have an outcome, don't attach negative or positive to it. Just feel what it is and stay with it as long as it needs to be there, and then see what's on the other side without being attached to it. Like another big thing is the kleshas, the 5 cause of suffering. Like totally like allowing ourselves to surrender to it, because so often we attach to an outcome, or there's ego involved, and we have to fix things and we have to this and that, and it can be a healthy drive, but it can also be very toxic to act not from a grounded space to that. And I'm gonna leave it for now.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of medicine in there for everyone, in that just simply being in the present moment without attempting to fix, at least for a moment, just simply being and feeling what you feel is powerful medicine. Thank you, brother. Miss Marisa.
One of the visuals that came up while you were speaking, Joelle, was the image of like the white wolf and the dark wolf, right? And the message of like you can choose which wolf you want to feed. That was very present in one of my first medicine journeys with some heart medicine. It was like sassafras. And I remember the medicine man I was working with just talking about how like we get to choose, right? Like which room do we want to enter? Do we want to enter the room that is filled with like darkness and that's fine, you know? And there's another room that's filled with lightness. And I feel like it's the same thing with COVID-19. You know, you could turn on the news and find a million reasons why it feels like the earth is coming to an end. Or you could, like what Mikhail was saying, you can look at the other side and see the gifts that we're getting out of this. And I feel like that's been the circumstance for any deep journey I've had where I felt like it was extremely challenging. In the end, I always come out of it stronger than ever with the most incredible lessons received. And I feel like that's the same case with COVID-19. We're coming out on the other end. At least I feel like I'm coming out on the other end being like, oh, because of COVID-19, we're having these virtual experiences now, connecting with, you know, people in Hawaii or all over the world so that we can have these kind of conversations. So in a way, it's just like creating this network so much more accessible than it ever has been before. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, yeah. It's really been it's shown us the beautiful in stillness and going within, and allowed us to really cherish true connection at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, also want to say that the glaciers are so present, like the fear of death is like, you can see how everybody reacts, like truly how much they have accepted that they're going to die or not, and are they ready yet or not, and what do they want to do before they die. I think this is like the closest, at least in my living time, that humankind have experienced such a death experience, and questioning subconsciously or consciously if this is something they're afraid of or not.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people are being confronted with their fears right now. A lot of people are finding out that they may not have been on such solid ground as they thought they were in means of this whole story. So a lot of stories coming up. Beautiful. Thank you. Ms. Marie, what have you got for us?
So I'd like to just talk specifically about my own experiences with Bufo and 5-MeO-DMT, and how that has really helped me, and how I see it helping like the clients that I've worked with in this particular space, the COVID-19, is I feel like for myself, sometimes I've come into these sessions not realizing just how much, I'll just call it bullshit, I was carrying around. And being like the layers and layers upon like a pair of sunglasses, and how you could just put on another pair of sunglasses, and each one being a different trigger and each one being a different trauma, and not seeing just how much that was ruling my life for a certain period of time, or just like running the show. And with that specific medicine, I feel like it's just peeled off the layers like the onion and helped me come back to that empty place. And in that place of emptiness, I've been able to really ask to be connected with my higher self, and to really, like, you know, to fill myself with positivity, with trust, with openness, with creativity, motivation, passion, and just be living in a much more free place, and to really connect to the higher self, you know, like and come out of it in this time. It's like, it's such a beautiful opportunity right now to really look at our gifts and the things that we've been wanting to give more time to, like say art, music, poetry, being creative, making things. And so I'm coming out of it with this more of a clear slate, and with more gifts, like say singing, you know, practicing songs that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And so it's been a solo time, a quiet time. Sometimes I've been lonely and bored, but I feel like I've come out of it more connected to some of these things that I've been really deeply craving to actually work on. So I'm kind of trying to look at it as just a gift right now, and just to the medicines as well for that, helping me reconnect to that space within me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it is definitely a time for reconnecting. It's a time where we all get to remember and go within. And it's going to be interesting on the other side of this, because like I was saying, we're all in this together right now. There's no one in the world who is unaffected by this in some way. Everyone in the world has had their sense of certainty and stability shaken at least a tiny bit, at least a little bit. And so not just in every individual is this alive, but in the collective, it's very alive. And those of us who work with these different modalities of self-inquiry, it's a wonderful time for us to be able to really put this to work and bring these understandings. Once you've really gone in and understand how you tick and how you work energetically, you're able to see how a little bit of shift in feeling of security can ripple out and echo out into your feelings about yourself and your personal interactions with others, etc. And so this is allowing us all to see what we're holding on to, see where the freakouts start to happen, if and when they happen, see what they're about, go in there and look, okay, I'm trying to hold on to some old things that are falling away right now. And it's that bit of that combination of surrendering and taking action. It's the balance between allowing what is falling away to fall away and the action of bringing what is left to life or to the forefront and putting it to use. And this can mean almost anything different for anybody, really. But with these medicines, it's going to be a very beautiful time for people to reconnect, especially once we're all able to get back out there and get back into community and really share space with one another, when everyone can bring what they've learned to the table. We've all just gone on cosmic timeout for a while. We've all just gone into our own caves and gone into our state of introspective hibernation, if you will. We've all gotten to go in and knock around and see what's alive and see what doesn't need to be there anymore. And we can return to the village together anew, sharing what we've learned, and with a newfound compassion, a newfound connection. As it's easy to understand conceptually that we're all one. We can understand in an ideological way that we're all connected. But sometimes it takes something like this to see just how connected we are. And yeah, it's there's medicine in everything, but this current event seems to have a whole lot of medicine in it. A whole lot of medicine. And I'd just be curious, and we can go in order, out of order, you can just raise your hand at any point. If there's any specific medicine, work, any specific ideology or modality or any specific paradigm or thought process that's really been helping you through this, any little gift you can offer, any little jewel or assistance of self-introspection, if that was even a word. But yeah. Yes, Marisa.
So having a committed, consistent, regular practice is something that I was pretty good at before all this went down. And then as soon as COVID-19 came down, I feel like it shifted, and I just started, I just changed my schedule. We're forgetting what days it is, and so that's why I'm so grateful for the virtual rituals that we've been doing every week, because it's the practice of the self-reflection, the breathing, the being in community and breathing and meditating together has been my saving grace. It's what's helped me just stay connected to my purpose, because I feel like it could be so easy to get swept away by that, the negative mind pattern. And like, I get that the negative mind is there to protect us. However, when there's an imbalance, that's when it starts to create those internal imbalances. So just practices to bring more internal balance, which for me has been, I'm also a Kundalini yoga instructor, and I love to work with yoga nidra. And so I'm like a huge, and like dancing's my number one medicine. Yes. And I realized it was yesterday, I think it was International Dance Day. I think every day should be International Dance Day. Because that for me is just a reminder of getting back into my body, which is that support in me being fully present. So complete.
Yes, indeed. Getting back in the body. It's interesting. Yeah, like you said, I found my routines really switching around. I was down in Mexico, and I came up probably, I think on the 17th of March, I came back to LA and just immediately fell into a fully different pattern. When I'm down in Mexico, I get into a pretty good state of relaxation, I would say. My days there are pretty loungy. They're mostly in the hammock or the jacuzzi. And but I came back and got into a pretty loungy routine, which is always good. But it was interesting. There was this weird, I found it getting a little excessive where it was really good for a few days where I just did nothing for a few days. I mean, I just kind of pondered, reflected, watched TV, read books, kind of just lounged for a few days. And then it started just shifting and shaping. And now my new routine has kind of somehow formed itself. I've been running. I never run, but I've been running, which has been really fun. I've been running 2 miles in the morning, and it's been great, especially since the weather's been phenomenal lately. And then just kind of different routine of what foods I've been prepping, soaking the beans, making sure there's some rice on, just getting everything good. And then just doing a little cleaning routine and spending a lot of time in the sun on the balcony, soaking in the sun, doing a lot of meditation. And then honestly, the past few days have been working a whole lot more than I expected to, just a lot of stuff on the computer and phone calls and stuff. But it's been nice. It's been nice completely destroying the old routine and getting to see what pops up. Yeah. Anyone have anything to add on any good tools that's been assisting them, or what fun things have been popping up in their routine that's been helping? Yes, Ms. Marie.
Yeah, for sure. I quite a few things actually. I've been isolated pretty much a lot of the quarantine on 47 acres with no car. So it's been a very quiet time for me, and something that's been just a beautiful little routine that I've gotten into every single day is I do a sunset walk, and I walk about 3 miles, and it's just so beautiful here, just feeling the wind on my skin. It's kind of cool, and just crisp air, and just kind of taking everything in, and just in this really peaceful place. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful times of my day. Another thing that I really enjoy is microdosing on mushrooms. I usually do, say, 5 days on, 2 days off. And I find that that's something that I never feel like I actually go into a full, trip or anything like that, but it does just enhance my creativity. I feel like if there's something like I'm wanting to connect to my singing, it's really helped me open up my channels for singing, and just everything's a little bit brighter, just a little bit crisper. And it's just a nice, a really nice feeling, especially before I do like a yoga practice or anything like that. And that's not something that I found that I could really get into in Los Angeles, because I've tried, and it just felt like it didn't quite feel like it was the right setting. But in Hawaii, it's just really beautiful. I'm trying to think. And another thing for me that I especially love in the morning is tapping. I'm a big tapper. I'm really into EFT. I feel like it's incredible. Whatever it is I'm feeling, if I wake up feeling like I need motivation, or I'm feeling a little anxious, or I'm feeling a little depressed, there's a tapping for every single thing. And just having that morning routine of, for me, it's a meditation. So I wake up, I do meditation immediately, usually, and then I'll do tapping. and that's just been so great. I'm also on day 5 of liquid only. So I've done 2 juice cleanses. I did about 12 days of a juice cleanse maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, because I was actually working at a fasting retreat. I came here to work at a fasting retreat, and then I got kind of quarantined here in the retreat, and we continued with the water fasting retreat. So this is my second fast, and now I'm doing just liquids only, and I feel it really helps just kind of clean out the system and just let go of toxins, give the digestive system a break, and just to feel really good. So yeah, that's what's really helped me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Would you mind sharing your dosage for your microdosing? What do you generally dose at for your microdosing?
Sure. Yeah. So it's 100 milligrams. And I also really feel like it's a good combination. If you can get, there's online, you can buy like chaga, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, turkey tail, and even niacin. And if you can get a combination of all of those things with the psilocybin and just put that in a capsule, a lot of times you can find them already pre-powdered or mixed together. I have a really good mushroom blend called Om. I think it's off of Amazon, and just a combination of those. And it's just really, really nice.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And speaking of which, I did a little partner with Double Blind Magazine recently, and I believe the course doesn't start for another 2 weeks. So people can still sign up, but there's a mushroom growing course. It's a 2-week course. I think all in it's 100 and I think if you enter in my code, it's all sources my code, and it ends up being like $135 or something for the course. And but it's not just to grow entheogenic mushrooms, but to grow any type of wonderful mushroom. But yeah, this is the time to learn those good skills and to and start harvesting our own. All right. Anyone else have anything juicy to add before we say bye? Mr. Mika.
Sure. Well, one thing I have done, especially lately, the last 2 or 3 weeks, is totally surrendering to all the practices I have learned and have done in my life before, and tuning in the morning, just feeling what my body wants and switching it up with all kinds of things, because I recognize the pattern of mine that even if I know, like, let's have my day evolve around meditation rather than meditation has to be fitting in there. But sometimes it's still in my head, like, okay, this is what I need to do first in order to do this, rather than I want to do this right now. And so I've totally surrendered to whatever is there and just trusting my body, what it wants. And I've done the weirdest like movement combinations and lying around and stretching, and then put a song that I really love and started to dance and just evolving, in a way, kind of like creating my own practice and finding what works for me, and not being attached to, okay, this I have to do this for 3 weeks, I have to do this not for 3 weeks, or like, and all these things have been putting me in my head more, rather than just feeling what my body really wants and needs in my mind as well, and just exploring with that a little more. That's what I've done.
Yes. You're speaking my language. Yeah, it's really been a time, these past couple of years for me have been a time of letting go of a lot of my attachments to my spiritual practices and specific lineages, and letting go of the rigidity of my discipline, and finding some fluidity in there and switching up my practices. When I practice physical yoga, when I practice asana on the mat now, I don't even think it's recognizable as yoga. I've been just getting weird, and it's been beautiful, just letting go of a lot of the limits that I'd put around my spiritual practice, and really allowing it to be free without walls has been a very liberating thing. All right. Does anyone else have anything to add? Perfect. Well, guys, it was an honor having you all on. It was a pleasure. Really lovely to get to chat with you guys all. Until such time, namaste, aho, namaskar.
Thank you, Joed. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.